What's your note Bandi verdict? Don't forget to tweet on that hashtag because we are going to be debating on what the opposition says and whether they believe the government's report card and how the government defends its own track record as far as note Bandi is concerned. Joining me this evening is Nalin, Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP and advocate in the Supreme Court. Joining me live from Delhi, Prafulla, Ketkar, editor of the Organiser, joining me live from Delhi. Rajiv, Kumar, senior fellow at the Centre for Policy Research and founder director of Pehle India, will join us in just a bit from Bengaluru. Manoj, spokesperson of the RJD, joining me live from Delhi. Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, leader of the JDU and spokesperson, joins me live from Patna. Suneet Chopra, leader of the CPIM and All India Joint Secretary, All India Agricultural Workers Union, joins me live from Delhi. And Clyde, Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP, joins Anand in the studios in Mumbai. But my first question is to you, Mr. Manoj Jha. Mr. Manoj Jha, your party leader, Lalu Prasad Yadav, has done several flip-flops as far as note Bandi is concerned. First, he was absolutely preempted by Nitish Kumar of the Janata Dal United, Chief Minister of Bihar, who went in support of the mammoth decision taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who said that this will help fight black money and corruption. But then, suddenly, there was a U-turn. Questions were raised by Lalu Prasad Yadav. Which side of the fence are you on, Manoj Jha?
Navika, let me correct you a bit because I have a timeline available with me. I can show it to you. From 8th to 9th, I tell you, not only my leader Laluji, RJD, we all stood with the Prime Minister. It all started on the 3rd and 4th day when I saw people started moving out from Delhi. When I saw the reports in different sections of the media that the informal economy and the unorganized sector lies shattered. What do we expect from political parties? We thought this was all about black money. I'm sorry. My Prime Minister has been changing the goalpost as well as the goalkeeper. Number one. Now that is why I said don't call it a flip-flop. Secondly, I was intently listening to my finance minister today, and a great advocate, but he does not know there is basic thing about statistics, that you need to provide base year as also comparative data. My finance minister was conspicuously silent about informal economy, about the kind of what we have been saying, that the 2% conservative estimate of loss to GDP, you cannot say that you can compensate it. He remained silent. And my finance minister also appeared very vulnerable because we believe that statistics should not be used as a drunkard uses lamppost, not for illumination, but for standing erect, but for support. And that worries me because
those are
today
very strong
my informal economy is shattered.
You want the numbers? Let's give you the numbers. Yeah. These are the finance ministry numbers that I hold in my hand.
I'll give you the numbers.
So make
not one number has come from Mr. Jha.
First, listen to the numbers.
Yes,
the government
I'll give you the numbers.
You said the finance minister had not given the numbers. Let me give you the numbers. Excise collections in the month of November. The comparison is between November 2015 and November 2016.
Navika, don't misquote me.
Okay, listen to the numbers. You wanted to hear the numbers. Let me give you the comparative numbers.
No.
Let me give you the comparative numbers.
Navika, I'll tell you.
33.7% increase in excise duty collected.
If you have called me.
Service tax, 15.5% duties extra collected this year.
Otherwise,
isn't that
I
a
don't
growth?
need to be part of this debate. If you have decided, I'm telling you, statistics demands. Give us the base figure. Base figure is different from numbers.
I'm giving you, Manoj Jha.
I'm talking about comparative
May I have a moment, please?
I'm giving you the comparative figures, Manoj Jha. Why don't you listen to those numbers?
You are not, Navika. This is a closed debate.
I'm holding the finance ministry statement in my hand. This is the revenue department statement. Let me just give you, if you're not satisfied with the numbers, Manoj Jha, I will get Nalin Kohli to come and answer your questions. But Manoj Jha, at least I appeal to you that in a debate, at least listen to the questions. You mentioned figures. Let me give you the comparative figures.
But you misquoted me.
22,187 crore was the central excise collection
But you
last year.
misquoted me.
Okay, I'll correct myself if I misquoted you. But you wanted the numbers. I'm giving you. You said there are no comparative numbers.
No, I did not want the number. I wanted base figure and comparative figures. As also about informal economy, where he is
You are
silent.
calling them figures, I'm calling
Unorganized
them
sector,
numbers.
he is
That
silent.
seems to be the only difference,
Farmers,
Manoj.
he is silent.
Manoj,
you are calling them figures, I'm calling them numbers. I'll call them figures. If it suits you better, I'll call them figures. So let me give you the figures, not the numbers, but let me give you the
I
figures.
can also trap you in the words.
Okay,
Manoj,
so
so
figures are,
why don't you hear out now?
Excise duty has gone up by 33.7% in November month only. We are talking about November month only, 2015 versus 2016. Service tax has gone up 15.5%, 2015 versus 2016. Look at the agriculture numbers. In Rabi, wheat sowing has gone up by 7% between November of 2015 and November of 2016. Pulses, 13% up. Oilseeds, again 7% up. So we are giving you some ballpark figures. Yes, there are problems in some sectors. Leather sector has a problem. Textile sector has a problem. We are not wishing those away. We are going to ask Nalin Kohli on that. But I'm telling you, the numbers that you are hearing today from the finance minister, these are numbers from the finance
2015
ministry.
was poor monsoon. 2015 was poor monsoon. Please look at this data in comprehensive set. I mean, at least in a debate, we should be fair to the contextual factors.
Manoja,
Are you against Are you against it
if you
or are
had
you
poor
for
monsoon,
it? What's
if you
your
had
verdict? Because we are doing the note bandi verdict. What's your verdict, Mr. Manoj?
I tell you, my Prime Minister did not know how banking systems operate, how RBI functions, and that is why he has been changing the goalpost as well as the goalkeeper.
Right now, who changed the goalpost?
Okay,
Manoja, with due respect, Mr. Manoja, with due respect, Mr. Manoja,
seems to be more a
who
political
changed
argument than an economics argument. Now it's come to goalpost changing. Nalin Kohli, the question many are asking, there have been 59 amendments to the various banking rules that have come up. Was that because this was an alive government that was changing to the changing requirements of people and changing conditions of people? Or was this just because it was an ill thought out move in the first place and you hadn't anticipated some of these problems?
Well, not only an alive, it was also an agile government, which was constantly keeping track. But since Mr. Jha has constantly referred to, football terminology, I think he's committed a classic self-goal. I mean, so you don't even need a goalkeeper if you're going to keep committing the self-goal by the goalkeeper of the party. What's he talking about? Figures, numbers. How do you judge the success of any move? You judge it conceptually. So conceptually, the move was clearly by the Prime Minister an extremely important step to go ahead and destroy black money and to expand the reach of in terms of tax collection, the tax base, all of it. Hitting terrorism, hitting narco drugs, a lot of issues. The second part is, how do you compare data? You will compare a quarter with the preceding year quarter, and this year's quarter would be compared with the next year's quarter. The second way of doing it is you look at the total of the whole year, and then you will look at it as the total of this year. Then you could do it with the next year. So, there's a complete economic thing. Now, this can't be the fodder scam kind of economics. That, you just pick up any figure and then call it a number and then say confuse people.
There comes the political jibe from Mr. Nalin Kohli.
That is the economics. That's
but
the new
since we are having a...
Now, let's go to the third one. Let's go to... Please, I didn't interrupt someone. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. Now, let me go to the third part of it. What is it doing? There is also a new normal. If you're talking of the informal sector, you're talking of the unorganized sector, then please bear in mind that the unorganized sector was outside the financial inclusion. So you say, Manoj Jha says that the Prime Minister doesn't know banking. So who created 26 crore Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts in 2 years? The Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, from an announcement to implementation. So today when you have 100 crore plus Aadhaar card holders, when you have 100 crore plus mobile users, you have financial inclusion, you are changing the new normal, as Mr. Jaitley says. The aim of the scheme is also to bridge this gap by using the digital platforms available and therefore use Digital India as a means to cut this gap. Many things are happening here. So the figures are speaking in favor, the objectives are there, but those who have to criticize will criticize.
No, it's not about criticism, Nalin Kohli. There is a question that was asked and this was raised, that there was this informal, there is this rural sector, which is a parallel rural sector, which is a non-farm rural sector, which is a huge amount of people who actually trade in the informal economy, not on a parallel economy, but their lives, because it is all on cash. And I think that's what Mr. Manoj was trying to point out and ask you, what happens to this
I'd
economy?
like to answer that.
And this is there a number which comes and says what is the status of these people? Yeah.
See, I think we need to go at it. First of all, is for 70 years, this entire lot of people haven't been looked at.
Yes.
If they were outside even banking and financial inclusion, how do you start getting actual data? They are just wild estimates, they are guesswork. Once you have started bringing them into the entire structure of the economy, people are trying to confuse and say that this is going to be a cashless economy, as in all cash is wiped out. No, the finance minister is pointing out, why is the RBI, look, we've included out of the 15 lakh crore approximately notes, 10 lakh crores was in active circulation. Now all of it is virtually in the banking structure. When it's in the banking structure, you have the possibility of the banks now working in a renewed way. Number two, when the total amount of new printed notes reach about 10 lakh crores, you are back to the same normal which was there. But you have increased the whole method of doing business. You are increasing the number of, through training, through Digital India, through more digital transactions, the new normal you are introducing it. And the most important fact, how do you bridge this divide? If you have to bridge the divide, you have to take the planned economy or the planned budget from about 4.5-5 lakh crores to 15 lakh crores. Can it happen with a parallel economy? So I think here there are sensible objectives, clear enunciated objectives. If people are criticizing the implementation, no less than the Prime Minister said on the 8th of November, it will be a period of some pain. But did you see unrest? Did people in India stop doing things? They said no. You heard the white thing saying, we understand there is pain, but we appreciate it because it's a serious move. Now the Prime Minister is going to speak on the 31st.
Let the government
so why don't we wait to hear the Prime Minister?
Let's give some credit to the people of this country also, Nalin Kohli.
The people of India take the credit, not the government of India, Navika. Only the people of India. The people of India take the full credit, not the government of India.
So
that they are resilient, they want action and they want black money.
But let me get in Clyde Crasto.
I am not taking it, the government is not taking it. We are acknowledging and respecting and saluting the people of India.
Okay, if Clyde Crasto, if the government is going to collect greater tax revenues, whether it is direct taxes, whether it is indirect taxes, the fact is we are seeing increased collections of taxes. Some people who had black money have to come out and declare now, whether it's through indirect taxes or through direct taxes. People who had that kind of stashed money have had to come out and declare, so there are greater tax collections. Clyde Crasto, if there are greater tax collections, that means more money for schemes, it means more programs for the poor, it means that the government will put out their best foot forward to deploy this money to meet the social objectives of this government. Does the opposition have any problem with that as well?
No. All that you said, I don't think there should be a problem if that actually happens. The point here is...
So what is the opposition crying hoarse about?
Can I talk? My point here is, the question arises here is that was this all about getting taxes back, or was it all about getting the black money out of the system, so that it does not fund terrorism, or it does not, people are not hoarding money. At the same time, aren't we talking about the people of this country? Now, Mr. Nalin Kohli said that, if the credit goes to the people of this country, then the government is giving themselves a report card. Now, let me tell you one more thing. Now, you were talking about numbers or figures or statistics, whatever word, please allow me to use that. I mean, you have statistics. I'm not going to cast any doubts on what you have. Fair enough, what you've given, the Ravi crop percentage has gone up.
Well, they have not been manufactured by me, Clyde.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I've not manufactured these figures.
I agree with you. I'm not casting doubts on that. But there are some figures that I have, and which is a part of the demonetization. My point here is, daily wage workers in the textile industry, about 31.9 million people have not got their wages. 2.5 lakh people in the leather industry have not got their wages. 14.5 lakh crore money was out of the system in one night. You only brought back about 5.5 lakh crores back inside. So these are also figures that we need to look at.
11 lakh crore is back in the system.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But there is still falling
11 lakh crore
short.
is back in the system, and that was the real moving money. The other money was actually stashed money, which was lying in cupboards and boxes in various safes.
Hear me out. I've been listening to you guys. Hear me out, please. My point here is there should be money in circulation for people to use it, right? You've taken out 86% of the money, and you've not even brought back 50% of the money back into the system. So that's the whole point.
Nalin Kohli, rebut this, please. Nalin Kohli, let the voice from the government rebut this.
One quick point.
One after the other.
One quick point.
Otherwise, it will all get lost. One point after the other.
Last quick point here is, since Mr. Nalin Kohli, complimented the people of this country, don't you think you owe them a simple and normal life by bringing back all the money into system as fast as possible? It's been 50 days, 49 days now. We were told that in 50 days everything will be normal. But whether it's political tutu-meme or political fights, do you think that tomorrow everything will be back normal? Please let us know.
Nalin Kohli.
Well, the first part to it is we are not making a point of the Indian. I think what is the message? The message when I'm talking of the common people is that they want something for the government to do. That's why there is a support. For something that doesn't have support, you see it. And you see it even on the streets. It didn't happen. What I think people are trying to constantly do is find fault with it. Now, many parties, and you can see Clyde, he's not stuck to a single ground. He's trying to say, ye bhi theek hai, wo bhi theek hai.
No,
That's not how it is.
Moving.
You want to say, no, we are there for the fight of black money. But on the other hand, you're saying, no, everything is bad.
Nalin Kohli, like I said, that's why I said, let's go point by point. Let's go point by point.
You should accept the compliment.
Sir, did I interrupt you? Sir, did I interrupt you?
I think we should be humble.
Sir, I didn't interrupt you.
Don't say I'm flip-flopping.
Sir, I didn't interrupt you.
I understand, Nalinji, but I'm trying to make a point to you. When I'm complimenting you, please accept it. When I'm making a point, please accept that.
This is important. And Nalin Kohli will go point by point. The first aspect that he raised was two of the sectors, that is the textile sector, the leather industry, and some of these sectors which were largely cash driven, where payments have not been made. Many of the people working in these sectors were migrant population who have had to rush back to their native places. For them, perhaps the new year will not bring the kind of cheer that it's expected to. That's the question that needs to be addressed.
I'll speak specific to the leather sector because I do know about the leather sector.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you why, because a very good friend of mine is in the leather council, and I was asking him this question specifically. Mr. Tuli, I was asking him this question and saying that, tell me about this. Now let me take his own case. He says that earlier, yes, you are right, almost 80%, almost about 50%, 60% of his staff took money on a daily cash basis. They didn't have banks. When this came, they said, we can't pay you cash. We will only have to pay you by check or through a bank account. So a large part of them immediately, without any dimmer, shifted. A small percentage of them, maybe 20% of them said, no, we prefer cash. Now, when there is no cash coming out, they said, look, these are the things, we are moving to it, we'd like a full compliance, so we can't do it. In that case, some of them said, we are going to our villages because we may have cash savings, we need to deposit it. That is also a reason for people to travel.
No.
But that doesn't mean that the whole industry has rejected it. Because that's an example I'm personally aware of. So I think, what's happening is this wide generalization. India is suffering. Many people have gone.
Navika, just going across to Prafulla Ketkar first. Prafulla Ketkar, one important factor for the government is that a lot of this migrant population which is moving from these centers, these textile hubs, these leather hubs, are going back to states which are soon going to go to polls. And there will be a verdict which will be given because the Prime Minister himself has made this entire exercise, remonetization exercise, a referendum in the upcoming polls. So if we have to go by what Nalin Kohli says, there should not be any adverse effect on ground. Where do you see this? Because there are questions which have to be answered.
See, my point is, if this is the case and people are upset about this move and they are migrating in large numbers, opposition should be happy about this.
No,
because Prime Minister and the ruling party
politically, whatever their
has done a
motive for the
blunder
people,
by-
we are
with
not
this
going to be
decision.
happy for the
So,
people.
the point, see, please.
So, I am asking you, Prafulla, I am asking you as a
See,
journalist,
the point
do you believe
is-
there is
the
merit
point
in what
is-
the opposition claims, or do you believe that people, and the larger sentiment in India is, let's now get digital? Are you seeing this entire aspect of people trying to embrace the new ways, get into the banking system, and is that why the government has seen a largely positive response? Is that why that they have not suffered losses in civic polls? Is it why that across states the overall mood still remains positive even though people are being
give me a minute. Give me a minute.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yes, I will come to that. Yeah. See, the question is, we have been talking about corruption, black money, terror funding, fake currency for a long period of time. The real question was whether we want to go for larger systemic reforms or we want to change the people. Prime Minister, while delivering the mandate, took the first path. He went for a larger reform. He took a bold decision. Now, if you go to the ground, the reality is, by and large, people are supportive to the decision. Even opposition is afraid of questioning the decision. They may be questioning the implementation part. They may be raising doubts about, why so many amendments. But the reality is, who believed that people would stand in the queue on behalf of others?
What choice have you given them?
But that happened.
What
Who
choice have you
believed that
given them? You
banking
told the people
sector,
of this
some of the banking
Yeah.
personnel will flaunt and
No, but Clyde, that's the thing. The people had the option to come out and protest against the choice and revolt against the choice.
So
Sunil Chopra, that they have not done. People have not said. No, please understand. No, please understand. This is something you have to hand it to the government. You have to hand it to the government, and bringing in Sunil Chopra and Sunil Kumar saying that people did not come out onto the streets. And people did not say that we will not give up the old notes. We will not give up the old notes. We refuse to abide by the government's decision. They said, let's embrace it, let's do it. No. Did the opposition's voice get supported? Wait, Clyde, the opposition tried to call for a rollback. You tried to get everybody onto Jantar Mantar and also Akrosh Divas. It all fizzled out. It all fizzled out.
You said that.
Clyde,
Why did you say that we will
Clyde,
not give up?
Clyde, no point shouting. Please understand this. Please understand this. Please understand this.
So explain to me, how do you go against the
Did
law?
people come out onto the streets and say, tell the government, roll this back? They did.
Well, there are so you.
Did they come out?
Not been watching,
Did they come out onto the streets?
Well, they have people
No,
have.
they did come out.
People have
They did come out onto the
and people
streets.
will not go.
They
Well,
did not come out onto the streets to say roll this back. They said implement it better.
Others on the panel to also come in on this debate. Sunil Kumar Singh and Suneet Chopra haven't spoken yet. We can't keep allowing you to make all the points. Suneet Chopra, the question is, you, apart from being a leader of the CPIM, are also an agriculture expert. The fact is, many said that there was a cash problem. Farmers would not be able to make any payments, would not be able to buy seeds for the sowing season, and that was a big issue that was created when the Note Bandi decision was announced on the 8th of November. Have your fears now been completely belied, because the fact is that the Rabi sowing figures have shown a 7% increase? The question is, was the opposition making much ado about nothing, giving their verdict even before they tested out the announcement that had been made?
I have been in the villages in at least 4 states, and I can tell you that the farmer is actually going right out of his way to do this work, and suicides are increasing, they are not decreasing. And you can understand.
Do you have numbers to back your claim?
The Indian farmer
Do you have statistics
is
or numbers to back
desperately
your
trying
claim?
to keep alive
Mr. Chopra,
against these
do you have
laws.
numbers or statistics to
And
back
I
your
will
claim?
tell you these laws
You
are
can come and
undemocratic.
you can be somebody
That is
like
why
you can be a
Mr.
doomsayer
Modi, when he
and you
fails
can
on
try
the
and whip up whatever
land,
frenzy.
is
Sunil
coming
Chopra, do you have
with a new
numbers to back your
ordinance
claim?
to punish so-called
Sunil
people
Chopra,
who have
you are the
money.
All India Joint
In the
Secretary,
villages,
All India Agriculture
nobody
Workers
has a
Union.
bank account,
Do you
so
have
all money will be made.
numbers to back your claim? Sunil Chopra, do you have numbers to back your claim because you can come
Yes,
here and
how
try and
many
whip up
people
whatever
have
frenzies
died
you
last
want.
year?
I do not see farmers.
140
I do
people
not
have
see
died in
farmers
the queues.
telling the
I don't
local
know what
MPs and the
numbers. You
Nagar
look at the
Sevaks and the
numbers of
Panchayat,
people
local Panchayat
dying in
leaders.
train accidents,
We are-
traveling around from job to home to job.
No, what are you
Suneet
saying?
Chopra, these
Where
are
is
the
where are the
numbers. This is from the
Where are the
Agriculture
numbers?
Ministry.
I would say,
You know, you
I
are
don't
not giving
believe in
any
your government's
specifics,
numbers.
but let me give
be
you the
blunt.
specifics.
This
What
is
are the
a government
specifics?
of liars.
Wheat.
It spoke of
Wheat.
black money and it's filling the banks with money to give to the rich and taking it from the poor.
You have proof of that? You
Well,
have proof
you're
of that,
making
Suneet
those
Chopra?
claims, you're not
Where are the
backing
numbers?
it up with
Yes,
any
you want
kind of
farmers
evidence.
to be in clutches of local
Mr. Manoj
saukars.
took away so
You
much.
know,
That
let
is your
me
government policy.
read
You
out the
haven't even
numbers to
achieved
you.
that.
Look at the area that has been sown. Last year it was 266.64 hectares,
Indian
as
farmer
lakh hectares as far as wheat is
till the
concerned.
death
This year
of
it's
his farm.
287.10
This is for
hectares.
survival
For
agriculture.
pulses,
This is not
145
production. This is
versus
survival
129.
agriculture. They are desperate.
Oil seeds,
I
79 versus
yesterday, I know what the condition-
71.92.
Suneet Chopra,
There is an increase.
Suneet Chopra, please make
Suneet
sense. We'll
Chopra,
go.
the numbers that have been put out, and these are statistics that are coming from the
These
Agriculture
numbers,
Ministry.
we will see.
You are saying you don't
what
believe the
they
numbers?
tell when we have seen them in proper perspective.
Yeah. Why don't you
Yeah, so
why don't you
what's
give
the
us some
proper
numbers from your
perspective?
agriculture
Numbers.
workers union? Why don't you
And
give
I
us some
don't believe your
statistics
government anymore.
rather than
They
making
are
these
liars.
lofty
Your
statements, Suneet
government
Chopra?
is
Why don't you
a
come out?
liar.
Why before you
What do you
call
mean by
others
your
liars? Why don't you put out
government?
liars?
Suneet
Why don't you
Chopra,
put out your
what do
own
you mean by
numbers?
your government?
Why don't you put out your own
I
numbers?
need to come in
Chopra.
a minute, please.
What is the
Suneet
statistic?
Chopra,
What is
do you mean
what
by
is the
your
statistic
government?
that you have as Secretary of the All India
We are talking of the
Agriculture
government
Workers
of
Union?
India.
What-
We are not talking
are
of
you
some
next
ragtag
going to say
CPIM
you
or something like that. Somebody picking up and becoming a so-called thing from a fossilized era, some say thing which is over, which doesn't have an ideology, and you say liars. Is the union government a lie? The union government is the union government of India. know. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It's still the union government of India. When they do something, they do it in the national thing. You may disagree with it. How dare you call the government a liar? Back it up with something, or go to the Supreme Court with the evidence. You can file a petition straight out there in the Supreme Court with evidence. But how dare you call the government of India a liar, Mr. Chopra? I think you are demeaning the government of India, and you have no right it.
No,
You
they
are
are
probably
further-
speaking the language of a
Mr.
non-Indian
Chopra,
by doing
they are
so.
further
Suneet
minimizing
Chopra,
their
you know, you
further
can't say
minimizing
your
their
government.
limited constituency,
It's the
Nalin
government
Kohli.
of India.
There is no point
It's the
losing your
government
cool
of
with people
India.
like
The
Suneet
Prime
Chopra who
Minister
don't
is
back
the
their
Prime
claims
Minister
with
of
facts.
India. He leads the government, Mr. Suneet Chopra. So it's not your government or my government. It's the government of India. Suneet Chopra, at least
A government that doesn't believe in parliament is not my government.
Mr. Chopra,
If
when
they
you come
believe in
when you come
also
on the
didn't
Newshour
show-
debate,
it
sir,
is not
opposition
when you come
also
on the
didn't
Newshour
show
debate,
any
sir,
evidence of
please
believing
come.
in parliament.
Please
They
come
were
with some-
given enough opportunity to raise these issues in parliament. The
we
opposition
gave the
also
Prime
did not
Minister
show
every
any
chance to
evidence
come and
of
speak,
believing
but he
in the
didn't.
system of parliament,
He
Mr.
announced
Suneet
this
Chopra.
strange
Let
scheme
me
of
get
his
in Dr.
outside.
Sunil Kumar
And
Singh.
let me
Dr.
say,
Sunil Kumar Singh.
theoretically now, let me make
Okay,
it
Dr.
very clear.
Sunil Kumar Singh.
There is nothing theoretical or practical about what you are saying, Mr. Suneet Chopra. And please understand, the more you continue to represent with just lofty statements and no facts and hard figures, you are only going to further minimize your already shrinking constituency. So please be a little more aware and little more responsible about your choice of words and what you want to bring on a Newshour debate.
Nobody in
Dr.
the
Sunil Kumar
CPIM,
Singh.
nobody in the left party seemed to be bothered about a constituency. They seem to be bothered only about their viewpoint, a set viewpoint, which doesn't seem to be changing, even if the evidence is to the
according
contrary.
to their will.
Yes.
And
Okay,
Yes, Suneet Chopra.
okay, point taken.
And not according to the ordinances of the government.
Suneet Chopra,
Okay,
sometimes...
okay, hold on to your thoughts, because your constituency will probably be looking at a further shrinkage if that's the kind of thought process you continue to have. But let me go across to
you'll
Dr.
see
Sunil Kumar Singh.
whether-
Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, the question to you is, how do you take, this entire stand on the note Bandi? On day one, Nitish Kumar came out and applauded the Prime Minister for taking this step. After seeing it through, even for 4 or 5 days, they decided to change their viewpoint. The question is, the criticisms come in. You are in favor of black money and corruption being tackled, but you don't want to give the Prime Minister the 50-day period that he had asked for, in which he had said that there would be pains, and these pains were for the gain that he was chalking out for the rest of the country. Now, what's your stand? Are you comfortable with Lalu Prasad Yadav? Of course, you've forgotten all about his corruption record that he's had. You've made a Mahagathbandhan with him. You're running the government with him. But do you also, like Lalu Prasad Yadav, call this a Tughlaki Farman?
Navika, we have supported Note Bandi once and for all. We are making it clear. We have given 50 days time as the Prime Minister has asked. Now the 50 days is coming to an end. We will again review the situation. The only thing we would like to tell you is that the whole success or failure should be measured in the objective indices, not on subjective lines. Let the economists decide that what are the indices to be measured on. And like Finance Minister talked about indirect taxes increase, all kind of thing. But the few things has to be talked about also, that there is, what about the cash crunch in ATM? What about the decreased profitability in corporate sector? What about the decrease in GDP? What about the decrease in employment in informal sectors? There has to be a third party evaluation, because government will come out to the
So you're saying you don't believe the government numbers that have been put out today?
Don't accept the thing.
You don't believe the government numbers that have been put out today,
No,
Dr.
definitely, I
Sunil
said
Kumar
that.
Singh?
May I have a quick response?
And Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, even before the 50-day period was concerned, why was Sharad Yadav sitting with Mamata Banerjee demanding a rollback of the entire Note Bandi exercise? Why was Sharad Yadav doing that if you said that you were giving the government 50 days to evaluate this entire scheme of remonetization?
Navika, there are two things we have asked. I also, first one that yes, I didn't say that we don't accept the central government data. I said that the data is one thing, but the data should also cover as to what is about the decrease on employment in the informal sector, what to talk about decrease in profitability, what is the market economy. It has to be a detailed measurement and detailed indices.
Dr. Singh, Nalin Kohli wants to respond.
Third party evaluation.
Nalin Kohli wants to respond.
Second part you said.
Nalin Kohli, let's go point by point between the BJP and the JDU.
I'm a
point
little
by
surprised.
point. Yes, Nalin Kohli.
I'm a little surprised with what Dr. Singh has said by trying to call for a third-party evaluation. So now it's a matter of concern for me that when a party in the country, and the JDU is an important party, they after all are running the state of Bihar, when they go ahead and they say that their spokesperson says a third party do it, it means clearly you have no faith in the government of India's own data. And the government of India doesn't manufacture. This is not a banana republic. And a third party should be some foreign entity. And therefore, are we allowing our entire national assessment of whatever is happening to be given and outsourced outside India? This is dangerous. I don't think this kind of argument should be built up. Now, let's come to the next part. If you are looking at asking all these questions on various indices, then you also must have incumbent upon you it is to basically raise the point that this is the past and therefore we want to do a comparative. That government of India has a wide set of data which the Central Statistical Organization does. Some of it you derive out of it. Then there are industry bodies that come up with their own data. You look at the whole and you can do it. Why are you leaving it on the government? You can also do it as a legitimate political party. That data is all available.
Nalin Kohli,
if you are looking for a specific study, then you need to contribute to that too.
Nalin Kohli, can I make an intervention, please? And Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, allow me this before I come across to you. Nalin Kohli, what is important is that the government, when it announced, or when the Prime Minister announced this exercise, India was with him. And he did, and we concede that. He did very clearly say that it's not going to be easy. 50 days and it's going to be tough. And it could get better, but you will feel the pinch. He did say that. But then the government should also, when it comes out and puts out a report card, should also highlight what went wrong, where it is hurting us. When the finance minister today spoke about the tourism industry on the uptake or international tourists coming into the country, he should have also said that there has been a sharp decline in domestic tourism, and that in key sectors and in key areas, in the peak season, occupancy ratios are less than 40%.
I'll answer that. It's a good question.
Yeah. So what needs to be done is you have to own up for all that's going wrong when you take credit or you show what is going right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, Anand, that's a fair question, but I think the timing of it needs to be thought about. Let's go one by one.
Then let me
If you
answer
need
first.
to see the
Anand, let me
overall
answer first.
impact,
Anand.
you need to do it.
Anand, let
May
me
I
answer
just
first.
finish? May I
Dr.
just
Singh,
finish?
allow
The
him-
question is
allow
to
him
me,
a rebut
Dr.
and then
Singh.
I'll
Then
complete.
after that, you may have a comment. Yes.
Anand,
Let
there are
me
few
finish my
things
answer.
I have to do a
Therefore,
rebuttal to
I'll come
Mr.
back to
May
you,
I
Nalin.
Dr.
just
Singh.
finish? The question
I'll
is
come back to
addressed
you,
to
Dr.
me.
Singh.
May I
After
just
Nalin
finish
Kohli,
it?
I'll
Then
come
I'm
back to
sure
you, Dr.
Dr.
Singh.
Singh may have a point to say. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back that if you need to assess something, you need to see it in totality. You can't just pick it up. Like, for example, if you tomorrow say the 30th is there, even if a child goes to give an examination in a school or a college, a young adult goes, what do? You give an exam, you don't have the result instantly. You know after a certain period because the result is looked at. The same is going to happen here. What is important are the lessons to be done. So there is a set of objectives. Wherever the government needs to set up or do something in terms of the specifics you are asking, of course it will do it. If a government is agile and is able to look at the implementation issues because secrecy was required, immediately quick-footed move in there, do the raids wherever you are finding that there is an abuse of the system or a misuse of the system, catch the people, whether it's the enforcement directorate or the income tax acting in tandem. Do you believe that the government won't work on the things that are so dear to Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Which is, how do you bridge the gap between a vast
So you're
majority
saying-
of India?
you're saying that you
and
will
those
put
who
out
are
all that
affluent?
went right,
It's not
all
about
that
fighting
went
amongst
through.
each other.
People in
Nalin
India
Kohli-
are saying
Obviously, the
Nalin
government is
Kohli
looking at
has
going to
given
look
you
at
another
totality.
question.
50 days. They've given you 50 days, Nalin Kohli. Now they want to see the results because you asked for a 50-day period. After that, how much time is it going to take for normalcy to come in? That's question number one. But Dr. Sunil Kumar wanted to
Navika,
ask.
allow me
Dr.
to speak
Sunil
one
Kumar,
sentence. I'll do the
Dr.
rebuttal
Sunil
one.
Kumar, I'm coming
Yeah,
to you.
Navika.
I'm coming
Yeah.
to you,
The
Dr. Sunil
Honorable
Kumar.
Prime Minister is expected to address the nation on the 31st. It's 2 days from now. So, as I said, the question of this, you need to at least hold your horses to hear the Honorable Prime Minister. He's the one who announced it on the 8th of
Sunil Kumar
November.
Singh,
And he's
Dr.
scheduled
Sunil
to
Kumar
address
Singh,
it.
since
So we need
you
to wait.
support this
We can't
government
be
in the fight
preempting
against
everything and
corruption.
give a result.
Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, since you stand with this government in its fight against corruption and black money, would you not at least compliment the government that there have been 586 raids across the country, that there has been 3,900 crore concealed income that has come out, that there is 4,800 notices that have gone out to people who have hidden their income, so more money is likely to come out. 800 surveys have been done so that people who have been hiding their money and not paying taxes, all of this is going to come in. That's led to the direct tax increases, the indirect tax increases. The fact is, all this money is going to be used for schemes and projects by the government. Would you have any problem with that?
Now, Navika, first let me answer about Mr. Nalin Kohli's saying that by third-party evaluation, I didn't mean foreign thing. That the problem with BJP is that they jump to conclusions. That the BJP is either in a denial mode, or in a blame game mode, or in a chest thumping mode. By third-party evaluation, it never means a foreign country evaluation. Number one.
Right.
Second thing, I never doubted the central government's data.
Right.
I didn't say that. Mr. Nalin Kohli comes to the conclusion. What I meant was, all your data should be with objective indices so that it is acceptable to all economists and all the people of
you're
India.
making an
And
unfair
that is what I
assumption
meant.
that the indices will not be objective. Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, what you need to tell the government is that they need to put
So
out
now
all
there's an
data.
assumption in that.
No, I just
They need to put out all data. I'm just taking 20 seconds. So Sunil Kumar Singh, I just need to tell our viewers, we have opened the phone lines. We'll just be able to take 4 or 5 calls. The numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screen. The moment the first 2 callers are patched in, we'll take their calls and the questions will be to the panelists, to those who represent the government, those who represent the opposition, and both ways. And it is going to be about the Notbandi verdict and what the viewer feels and whatever their questions are. Our first caller is already through from Hyderabad, Ramana calling us from Hyderabad. Good evening, Ramana. What's your question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I know. The first thing, the comment I have is, I still consider this as the greatest thing ever happened. There were difficulties, but people have, and we people have actually coped up with it, and we fully supported it. But, my question to the opposition is, why there is so much pessimism? Why can't you understand this has happened, and why don't you come out with solid, actions or suggestions you have to the government to make it successful? For God's sake, stop fighting and have some suggestions to the government who are trying to implement this. This is definitely for good.
Very good point made by Ramanna. Very good point made by Ramanna. why should the opposition not make constructive suggestions to the government to make this a success rather than be pessimistic and only criticize the move? Thank you, Ramanna, for joining us. I'm joined by Girish, who's joining us from Mumbai. Girish, what's your point? Are you wanting to ask a question to any of our panelists, or would you like to give your verdict on the note Bandi?
Yeah, I just want to ask one question to Mr. Sunil Chopra, who is representing CPI. Sir, good evening. Can you hear, sir? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, Girish, go ahead. Girish, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah.
You're on national television, so go ahead. May I ask your question to Mr. Chopra?
Can answer me?
Yes. What's your question to Mr. Chopra? Yes.
Yeah, I was just asking. I just came back from Kerala.
Yes. Yes,
Not
Girish.
Nalin. I want an answer from Sunil Chopra, who is representing.
Yes, he is listening.
Yes, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is, could you please tell me which farmer is suffering in Kerala? Could you please tell me?
Mr. Suneet Chopra, that question from a viewer is to you. He says no farmers are suffering in Kerala. Where did you find a farmer in Kerala, or did you not visit the state of Kerala?
Why did the people of Kerala come out in a 750-kilometer long human chain if they were not suffering? If you go and look at the rubber prices,
were they the left cadre?
And look at
were they the left cadre?
International
were they the left cadre, and was that political or was that people? Was that political or was that people? Suneet Chopra, let's separate people from politics. Let's separate cadre. Let's separate cadre from the common man. Don't mix the cadre with the common man, because they are two different people. When the common man comes out on their own, the fury is different, and you have seen that, and India has seen that, and we have seen that. When it is politically motivated, then it is different. And India has seen that, and India has known that, Suneet Chopra. And that is what is evident tonight. The larger sentiment, Suneet Chopra, and you have to respect this sentiment among the people, is the opposition has been largely irresponsible in their attitude and their outlook towards this exercise. There have been some constructive suggestions,
Mr. Suneet Chopra, you should have also heard the caller who called in and said the opposition doesn't need to be pessimistic. It needs to give constructive suggestions to the government. Mr. Suneet Chopra, do you have any constructive suggestions to the government to improve upon the idea that they've come up with? Or are you only going to sit and criticize the entire move?
What are you doing for them besides unionism?
What are you doing for them besides unionism is the question Girish is asking you.
The poor people have only unions to fight for. The rich can corrupt anyone, but
then you should have been ruling in more states.
They may use them.
Suneet Chopra,
Mr. Suneet Chopra,
let's get on with the debate and let's go to our other panelists.
Yeah, you should have been ruling in more states, Suneet Chopra, if unions were all people were surviving by. Let's go across to Prafulla Ketkar. Prafulla Ketkar, do you think when a viewer calls in and says that the opposition should have given more objective suggestions to the government rather than being pessimistic, then it's a message for the opposition parties?
Pay compensation for the losses they have suffered.
Absolutely. See, the basic problem is we are viewing this decision only as a government move. I think it is our national responsibility. I really kudos. I went to Bangalore, the way people are taking initiative for digital literacy. I went to Meerut, a small town near Meerut, and a small, laborer. His reply was, he said, इस आदमी ने हमारे भविष्य के लिए पूरा पॉलिटिकल करियर दाव पे लगा दिया, हम इसके पीछे खड़े रहेंगे. What was this?
No, absolutely. This is
talking about the local reaction.
Yes, Prafulla, that is something which the entire country, even those who do not understand politics, Prafulla Ketkar, these are people, even those who do not understand politics, even those who do not understand politics, Prafulla Ketkar, they also have had this sentiment that which man will risk his political career, which man will risk his prime ministership and will take such a big risk if he did not have the interest of the country. Now that is an insight, and that is something which has been resonating across the country. I have heard this on the ground. I'm telling you. Our caller also with us. Who's our next caller? Like you said, Chandrakant calling us from Shirdi. Chandrakant Patil, good evening.
हाँ सर,
आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे इस नोटबंदी के बारे में? 49 दिन हो गए हैं.
मेरे दो क्वेश्चन है. नंबर 1
जी,
रिकैलिब्रेशन जो है, एटीएम जितने भी एटीएम मशीन बनाए ऑल ओवर इंडिया में,
हाँ
एटीएम मशीन रिकैलिब्रेशन करने के लिए जो साइज चेंज हुई है नोटों की,
हाँ,
उसके लिए आप एक दो महीने में इतने टेक्नीशियन या एक्सपर्ट कोई भी कभी भी बना नहीं सकता है.
हाँ.
ये जो जितने एटीएम ऑल ओवर इंडिया में बनाए गए उसके लिए 5-10 साल लगे हैं.
हाँ.
आप 2 महीने में कैसा ये चेंज कर सकते हैं? इसीलिए कैश डाउन, सर्वर डाउन ऐसा हो रहा है.
अच्छा,
इसीलिए बोलता है मशीन आउट ऑफ मशीन.
सही बात पकड़ी आपने. चलिए हम पूछ लेते हैं. नलिन कोहली साहब आपकी बात सुन रहे हैं. ये when will the ATM start functioning? Chandrakant Patil from Shirdi. Again, he's not said your exercise is wrong. He's questioning when will I get access to money.
We are also joined by Gurudev, who's joining us from Bengaluru. Yes, good evening, Gurudev. What is your question, and which panelist would you ask this question, or are you wanting to give your verdict on the Notbandi exercise?
No, it's totally about the Notbandi verdict. Basically, probably our Prime Minister has lost the hope in the system of our banking system. He thought that definitely the whole banking system will help him for this beautiful Notbandi thing what he has done. But only thing is the banking officials have become so corrupt, and as so many riots has taken place and everything, and when we see crores and crores of rupees, which is in the black money which has been taken over and raided and accumulated, and nobody is questioning the bank officials, and all the political game is running behind him. I am not supporter of
Gurudev, if the bank officials were not being questioned, then they would not have been raided. Then this corruption wouldn't have come to light. And they wouldn't have been, being brought to book. Even officials within the RBI in Bengaluru have been arrested. No bank has been spared. There has been, if the government was not proactive,
Mr. Kohli, talk about when ATMs will have cash.
These arrests would not have happened, and this is something which everybody understands. Before we wind up, Nalin Kohli, the answer to the ATMs, I think we owe Chandrakant Patil that. So 30 seconds to that, and then we'll wind up.
Of course, I was going to answer it, but another caller came in.
Yeah.
I think with regard to the ATM, there were two parts that he was saying. One is about the cash, and second, he was talking of the note size change.
Yeah.
Now, this change of the size, color, dimensions, etc., is a decision that obviously has to be much beyond just a matter of, a conversation. There would be a security angle to it. There may be change of features. There may be a specific reason to want to change that. So that's one part to it. And obviously, it affected the recalibration of the ATMs. But as of about 15 days, 18 days ago, out of the approximately 210,000 ATMs, about 2 lakh had been recalibrated. And this was said by Mr. Shaktikanta Das in his press conference. So I think, now the second part is in terms of ATMs not working, or if there is a server issue or something.
No. The fact, Nalin Kohli, is out of the arguments.
I am not going to go by what people have their own views on.
Yes.
I will believe the Secretary of Finance. And he said 2,05,000 were done.
It's just that on
I'm not going to go by somebody's personal opinion.
Let's not get into the debate. The fact, Nalin Kohli, is if a viewer from Shirdi on the 49th day is saying that ATMs are not functioning, there is a problem.
I'm asking the second part to it.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm coming to the second part.
There is a real issue on ground, as you conclude. Yeah, final 30 seconds, sir.
Breakdown, or there may be a cash. So 1 minute. So there is a cash shortage, or there could be a breakdown. The cash shortage could be in terms of, because that's why there is a limit. Because you are now reached that larger figure of cash.
Well, let's not get into the micro details, Nalin Kohli. The question is, how soon is the currency shortage going to be made good? That's a question. Real people are having problems. That's a takeaway that you need to take back to the government.
Prime Minister's address.
Yeah, but the Prime Minister is not going to actually look at every single ATM. But the question is, not one single person on the ground has said that the decision was not good. The decision was not above board. The decision was not in keeping with the betterment of the economy and the society at large and the fight against black money and corruption. There are problems as far as the implementation are concerned. Some of them have sorted out. Some of them will be sorted out in the next few days. But the question is, are the numbers of the government something the opposition will believe in, or will they question that? The budget is not far away. We'll have to look at all of those numbers and the overall impact on the economy in the budget numbers. We'll take a short break. We'll thank all our panelists joining us on debate number 1. Short break. Back very soon.